Hey guys, welcome back to Yogalates with SJ into this 20-minute full body workout. So you don't need any equipment for the workout today, and this is nice and low impact. We're going to be working through the entire body, and if you want to though, you can also add in any kind of wrist or ankle weights. We're going to be starting in a kneeling position, so just finding all fours and finding a nice long line from the top of the head out the tailbone. You've got the core engaged and you are finding a tailbone lengthening back, and you're starting to keep that length as you sit back towards the heels, and then you're using your core to draw you forward again, and then you are coming back. So as you continue with this, I want you to make sure that you are keeping that flat back the whole time. So you've got that neutral pelvis and the shoulders are away from the ears. You're not locking out through the elbow joints, using your core here to draw you forward and back. Now on an inhale, you're starting to lengthen your left arm forward, bringing the hand back down, and then your right and bringing the hand back down. Keeping this going, so we're alternating from side to side. And as you continue with this, you are finding even more length out the fingertips, and you are also keeping that neutral pelvis. So you're keeping your gaze straight down or slightly forward, and you've got your core engaged the whole time. Inhale as you lengthen the arm, exhale as you place the hand back down. Let's stay here guys. This time we're going to start to bring the left leg back, and you've got a flex into the foot, and then you're drawing the knee in and then pressing the heel back. Keeping this going, so we're just working through this left side glute. And as you continue here, I just want you to make sure that you're not lifting the leg up too high, so we don't want to bring any tension into the lower back. You've got your core engaged, the ribs are closed, and you are pressing out through that heel, and then you are maintaining that core connection as you draw the knee back in. And inhale, press it back. Exhale, bringing the knee back. And then we're starting to come straight over to that other side. So taking a moment here to find your tabletop position, and then you are pressing the right heel back and drawing the knee in. You should be able to feel this in the right glute, even a little bit into the hamstring. So just making sure that you've got that nice tabletop position the whole time. Belly button is pressing back towards the spine. Ribs are closed, shoulders away from the ears, and you're not bringing any tension here into the lower back or into the neck, so the gaze is straight down or slightly forward. Nice work. Coming all the way back here and finding that position here. This time we're going to start to lengthen the left arm and the right leg, and then drawing the elbow in as you draw the knee in, keeping this going. So this is a little test for the balance here. As you continue here, I want you to make sure that you have that core engagement the whole time. You're finding even more length each time you lengthen out, and then you are using your core muscles as well as the glutes to draw the knee back in. Beautiful work. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, releasing back down. Let's come straight over to the other side. So the right arm goes long, left leg comes back as the elbow comes into the right hip. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, draw it in. And keeping this going, making sure you're maintaining that weight is even through both sides of the body. You've got your core engaged, and you are working into all of the muscles of the glute as well as the core, and then we are releasing down. Staying here guys, finding that tabletop, and we're going to start to alternate. So left arm goes long as the right leg goes long, and then coming to the other side. So we are continuing to alternate from side to side, and you are keeping your core engaged here. Inhale, lengthening it out. Exhale, release and switch. Keep it going and making sure you're breathing the whole time. So finding that full connection. Don't worry if you lose your balance a little bit, just taking your time to come back into this. We are keeping that really nice strong core to help support this, and we are finding even more length out the fingers, out the toes, length out the back of the neck and out the tailbone. Nice. Let's come all the way down. You're just starting to round the spine, bringing the chin to chest and starting to sit back towards the heels, and then you're shifting forward. You might tuck the toes under, and then you are starting to round back, so bringing the chin to chest, tucking the tailbone, and then using your core to start to draw you forward back to your original position. So as you round back, you're finding that belly button comes back to spine as you start to tuck the tailbone, sit back towards the heels, and then inhale as you shift forward again. So really bringing your mind to those muscles we're working here as you continue with this. We are using the core to draw all the way back towards the back body, and then you are maintaining that core connection as you shift forward again. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. This time you're going to start to lift the gaze, and you've got the tailbone lifted and belly dropping down. Staying with that, but you're starting to sit the pelvis back towards the heels, and then you are coming forward again and continuing here. So you want to have a nice dropping down of the belly. You've got the tailbone lifted. You've got the heart open forward. So we're not bringing tension into the back of the neck though. So your gaze can be slightly forward or just down towards the mat. But we just want to have that nice lift of the tailbone as you shift back and shift forward. Keeping the ribs closed and not locking out through the elbow joints. So we are sitting back and shifting forward. You should be able to feel a really nice stretch into the toes here as well. And coming back, inhale as you start to move forward. And pressing back, exhale, inhale, shifting forward. Beautiful, coming all the way to that round spine, tucking the tailbone under, chin to chest, and then starting to roll all the way up, vertebra by vertebra, coming up to a high kneeling. And inhale, sweeping the arms up, exhale as you float them down, sitting back towards the heels, and then inhale, coming all the way up, sweeping the arms up, exhale, sitting back towards the heels as you lengthen the arms forward. Inhale, rolling up, exhale, releasing the arms down, inhale, sweeping the arms up, exhale, pressing the hips back as you lengthen the arms forward. Inhale, rolling up, reaching, exhale as you start to come back to your child's pose. Inhale, rolling the spine, and exhale, inhale, sweeping the arms, exhale, letting the arms come forward, sitting back towards the heels. Keeping this flowing, guys, in your own time. You're using your core to roll you up, and when you come to the top, you want to find that neutral pelvis. You want to have the shoulders releasing down the back. Finding one more here, and then we are starting to shift the pelvis forward, and then rounding the spine as you sit back towards the heels. And then as you inhale, you're coming all the way forward, letting the shoulders be away from the ears, and then rounding the spine, chin to chest, as you start to tuck the tailbone, sitting back towards the heels. Nice. This should feel really, really nice through the back, through the spine, and you can flow with this in any way at all that feels amazing for you. So really working into what feels good in your body. Now next time you come back, I want you to stay here just rolling all the way up. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, exhale, floating the arms down. We're coming over onto the left side, so coming onto your left forearm, making sure the shoulders are nicely stacked and the hips are nicely stacked here. Just letting the head come into the hand, and we want to have the knees in line with the hips and in line with the feet. Just finding a nice core engagement here, and you're starting to lift and lower that top knee. So keeping the arches of the feet together, you're just lifting up, and then you are bringing that inner thigh to squeeze inward, and then you are pressing outward with that outer thigh and outside of the hip. And as you continue here, I want you to make sure you're not collapsing down into the shoulder, and that you're really bringing your mind to the muscles we're working, the outer thigh, the outside of the glute and hip. Nice. Let's start to bring the knee inward as you start to flex the foot, and then you are lifting and then connecting the heels, and then lifting back up, and knee comes to knee. Nice. We're finding this really nice strengthening into the hip here. I want you to make sure that you've got a bit of space between the waist and the mat, so you've got your core softly engaged here, and you are just working into that outside of the hip, as well as a little bit into the outer thigh, as well as the outside of the glute, and making sure that you're breathing in through the nose and out the nose or mouth. Nice. One more here, and then we're stacking the knees back again. Just starting to bend through that top leg, and you've got the shin in line with your mat here, slight flex into that foot, and then you're starting to lift and lower the bottom leg. So it's just a little lift up and then lowering back down with control. Keeping this going, so working into the inner thigh, and as you continue here, just making sure you're not collapsing down into that supporting shoulder. You're lifting up out of the side waist, and you've got that soft core engagement, squeezing into that inner thigh, lifting the leg as high as you can, and then starting to slowly lower it back down, and then lifting it back up. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out the nose or mouth. Nice work. Now let's start to stack both legs. So hips are stacked and the feet are stacked. You've got the shoulders in line. You're just starting to lift and lower that top leg. So you can have the feet in a slight little Pilates V here, heels together, toes slightly turned out. You're just starting to lift the leg up and then resisting as you slowly lower the leg back down. So keeping this going, I don't want you to roll backwards or forwards with this. So I want you to keep those hips really, really nice and still and stationary, and you're just lifting the leg up as high as it wants to come, and then slowly starting to resist the air as you start to draw that leg back down towards the bottom leg. So good, you guys. We're getting every single thing here today in just 20 minutes. Nice. Now this time we're going to start to scissor the legs. So just hovering both legs up. You've got to flex into the feet. You can come up onto the forearm if you want to, whatever feels more comfortable. We're just starting to bring one leg forward while the other leg comes back, and then you're switching. So as you continue with this, I really want you to try and stay still through the rest of the body. So you're not rocking backwards, you're not rocking forwards, you're keeping your core engaged, and you are just working at your own range and making sure that you're breathing. So making sure that you are breathing deeply in, fully out, core is engaged, and pressing forward and pressing back. So good, you guys. Keep it going. Nice. Now let's lower the legs all the way down. Stacking the legs here. You're just lifting both legs up. So you're hovering the legs and then lowering them back down, and then doing that again. So you can use your hand, that supporting hand, to help you a little bit here if you want. But what we're really trying to achieve is just to keep that core engaged, and we're just lifting both legs up as high as you can, and then trying to slowly lower them back down. So with control, lowering back down towards the mat. Nice work. Now let's come all the way over onto the forearms, and then you can interlace the fingers here, making sure the shoulders are in line with the elbows. You've got length through the back of the neck. You're starting to lift the right leg up, and you're just doing little donkey kicks up. So flexing the foot, just tiny little donkey kicks up here, and working into the back of the glute, keeping your core engaged. And it's just a really small little movement here. The accent is on the up, so you're just lifting and lowering, keeping that really nice strong core. Now let's start to open and close that leg. So you're just bending the leg and straightening the leg, keeping that flex into the foot, so working into the hamstring, the back of that leg, squeezing it in and resisting it out. Nice work, trying to keep your weight even through that center line. So your gaze is straight down or slightly forward. You have got your ribs closed. Your weight is even through both arms. Nice. Now let's bring the knee all the way down, keeping that flex into the foot, and then pressing the heel back up, and then continuing with this. So it's a press up and a lower down with control, trying not to rush through this. So really bringing your mind to the muscles we're working here, not rocking around, so keeping everything else really, really still, pressing the shoulders towards the mat so you're not collapsing down into those shoulders. Now let's start to open the leg out to the side. So the leg opens out and then drawing back in, squeezing into those inner thighs, pressing out, so opening the knee out as you start to find that resistance of the outer thigh, the outside of the glute, and then squeezing back in and continuing here. Nice, just lifting the leg up as high as you can without bringing any tension into the lower back, and then finding that final one. Starting to sit back towards the heels. You can lengthen the arms forward, maybe starting to bring the forehead down onto the mat, letting the belly relax here onto the top of the legs, taking some cleansing breaths here in child's pose. Breathing in through the nose and all the way back out the nose or mouth. Might roll the forehead a few times over the mat. Just taking a little break here before we come over to the other side. We've only got a few more minutes left before we finish off. So rolling all the way up, keeping the chin tucked, rolling up, coming to your kneeling position, sitting back towards the heels. Let's go straight to the other side. So we are straight into it, you guys. Nice and short and sweet. So starting to stack the knees, and you are coming onto that right elbow, and you're just lifting that top knee and then starting to resist through that inner thigh as you start to draw the knee back in towards the bottom knee. Continuing here with this, and I want you to make sure again that you're not rocking backwards, you're not kind of moving around anywhere else in the body. So trying to keep everything else nice and still. You're also not collapsing down into that supporting shoulder. Let's just bring the knee to knee as you start to flex through that top foot, and then you are opening out the hip and starting to connect the heels together and continuing with this. So just trying to keep everything else really, really still here. You can use the hand in front of you for some support, or you can bring the hand onto the hip or the outer thigh to really feel into the muscles that we're working, and just making sure you're breathing. We are so close to finishing, you guys. You're doing absolutely amazing. It's going to be so worthwhile. And just one or two more here. Nice work. And bring it all the way down, stacking those knees back on top of each other. Now just starting to bend through that top leg as you start to bring the shin to be in line with the front edge of your mat. You're just starting to lift and lower through that bottom leg. So you are finding that extension of the bottom leg, and you are just starting to lift up, lower down. You can have a really neutral foot here with this. So really not pointing the toes or flexing the toes. You're just finding a relaxed foot. Just starting to lift up, lower down, trying to make sure you've still got that space between the right side waist and the mat. So you've got the core engaged the whole time, and you are lifting up. Inhale, exhale as you start to lower back down with control. Beautiful work. Let's stack that top leg on top of the bottom, and you are keeping the hips stacked, shoulders are in line, and we are lifting that top leg up and then slowly lowering it all the way back down. You can have the feet in that Pilates feet if you want to, so the heels together, toes slightly turned out, and you are not rocking around anywhere, so you're keeping that really nice long line from the top of the head all the way out the toes. And you've got a beautiful lifting up, resisting as you lower down, imagining that you're resisting the air as you start to lower down, using those inner thighs as well as the outer thighs, as well as the hip. And coming up, inhale, exhale, slowly lowering back down. Beautiful work. Let's find that hovering of both legs, and you're going to start to scissor the legs. So again, you can come up onto the forearm if you want to, or you can stay down with the head in the hand. And we're just starting to alternate from side to side with the scissor action. So you've got to flex into the feet, toes are flexing back towards the head, and you've got the legs around about hip height. So we're not coming up too high with the legs. We're just starting to bring one leg forward, the other leg back, and you don't need to make this super full range. You can just work at whatever range works for you. Just finding that nice strength here into the legs, into the hips, into the core, and a couple more. Nice work. Bringing both feet back together and lowering the legs all the way back down. Now you're just starting to lift up and lower down. So we're just lifting both legs up at the same time, keeping the legs glued together, and then resisting as you start to lower back down with control. Keeping this going. So really, really thinking about gluing those legs together the whole time. You've got those hips stacked so they're in that same line. And you are also creating some nice space between the right side waist and the mat. Nice work. Let's come all the way over onto all fours. So finding that all fours position, coming down onto the forearms, interlacing the fingers, and then just taking a moment here to find that connection, and we are starting to lift that left leg up. Heel is flexed and pressing up towards the ceiling. You're just making those little lifts up and down. So it's a pulse up and down here, working into that left glute and making sure your core is connected the whole time. The hips are pointing straight down. Beautiful work. And then let's go into that opening and that closing. So you are straightening the leg out, and then you are bringing the back of the heel to the glute as you bend through that knee, and really working into the back of the leg, finding your breath, breathing deeply, doing so amazing. And then just a couple more here. We're so close to the end of our workout, you guys. You're doing absolutely incredible. Now let's come all the way down with that knee, so keeping the knee bent. You're starting to lower the knee down, and then you're pressing the heel up towards the ceiling. And we are really getting into that glute muscle, into the booty. Trying to keep your ribs closed here, not rocking around anywhere else in the body. So it is just that heel lifting up, pressing up, almost as though you're trying to stand that foot up onto the ceiling. And now let's stay here, and we are starting to open and close out to the side. So you're bringing the outside of the knee out and then drawing in using the inside of the thigh, the inner thigh, and also the inside of that knee. And we are making sure that we're keeping really still here, keeping your weight even through those forearms and even through the core here, so everything is staying really still. Now just take a break, you guys. You can sit back all the way towards the heels, taking as long as you need here just to stretch and relax down before going about the rest of your day. You might just allow yourself a few moments. You've done absolutely incredible with this workout today. Well done, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Feel free to let me know in the comments how you went, and if there's any other videos that you'd like me to create here on the channel, I would love to hear from you. It was absolutely beautiful. Take care, you guys. See you again soon.